You're now listening to the Engage the Rockies podcast, your go-to podcast for local and state issues concerning Colorado.
Hello, Rockies. This is Sarah Jane Maroney, your host of Engage the Rockies, your go-to podcast concerning local and state issues for Colorado. This is your week in review for the second week of December in 2024. First up in local news, headline from Colorado Politics, D11 board votes to end master agreement with the teachers union. Quite a contentious meeting. Hundreds evidently attended. The District 11 School Board of Education voted not to renew the master agreement that has been in place since 1968 between them and the district teachers union, the Colorado Springs Education Association, during a heavily attended special meeting on Wednesday evening. The board voted 6-1 in favor of ending the master agreement. They cite quite a few different reasons here, but again, it was evidently the public comment lasted for over an hour, and there were quite a few in attendance, with lots of different opinions. From the article, Board Vice President Jill Hafley acknowledged that the atmosphere throughout the district had turned divisive and somewhat hostile in recent months, and that they will continue to work and hear from all teachers' voices going forward. The current master agreement is still in place right now, but will expire on the 30th of June. And since this vote has said that they're not going to renew it, it says here that they will make changes to the revisions to the employee handbook, and those specific revisions will be discussed at a working session on the 15th of January. Moving on, an article from the Gazette, quote, "I did not lie to the FBI. Mayor," end quote, "Mayor Maboldi rejects rumors around alleged hate crime hoax." We've covered this before, but basically a man named Derek Bernard Jr. and then two others, Ashley Blackcloud and Deanna West, were charged with, quote, "maliciously conveying false information about a threat made by means of fire," end quote. And Mayor Maboldi left a message himself on his public Facebook account explaining that he did not lie to the FBI, and he also produced a document from the FBI itself, the Department of Justice with the District of Colorado, saying that he was the victim and did not have prior knowledge of that. And it was originally a conservative news website, that the Daily Wire, which published the story, saying that he had lied. Moving a little bit further afield here, but still focused on El Paso County, in the Gazette, your headline is "Developer Meeting on Proposed Palmer Lake Buc-ee's Turns Heated." So evidently, and this is kind of confusing, but what the land that the developer wants is actually in El Paso County, but it's called a flagpole annexation, and it would then be annexed into the town of Palmer Lake. So from the article, residents raised a myriad of concerns over the travel center, which has been proposed on a piece of current El Paso County land west of I-25 and directly south of County Line Road. Developers have submitted an annexation plan to the county that would bring the site into the town of Palmer Lake under a flagpole annexation, connecting the roughly 30-acre property by a thin line to the rest of the town. If approved, the 74,000 square foot facility would be the second Colorado location for the Texas-based company known for supersized travel stops, marketed to have the cleanest restrooms around and a cult following food and merchandise. I've actually never been to a Buc-ee's that I can recall. I guess this is a big thing. There's one in Johnstown, and there was a lot of furrow there as well, although that seems to have calmed, and most people seem to have accepted it. I mean, it's already built, so. But that's kind of the quandary here in terms of the local residents not wanting it or wanting it, and whether it would be in Palmer Lake or not. So the trustees are actually meeting probably right now. Finally, a article from the Rocky Mountain Voice an article about illegal immigrants straining education and healthcare. Common Sense Report finds. This is by Jen Schumann. We have actually had quite a few times have Common Sense Institute appear on our podcast over different information, different aspects that Common Sense Institute covers. Oh my goodness. But basically, this is a report showing the fiscal burden on Denver in terms of the influx of migrant students. 16,197 migrant students since the end of 2022 have begun to attend Denver metro schools. And according to CSI, it costs $228 million to educate those students, which is 1% to 2% of Colorado's education budget. And the estimated cost per migrant student is $14,100, which is below the national average of $16,345, according to the Heritage Foundation. But basically, this is from the article. The public cost of Denver's illegal immigrant crisis isn't limited to education. The healthcare system has been taxed as well. Since December 2022, metro area hospitals have reported 16,760 emergency room visits by migrants. And in April 2024, City of Denver made budget cuts all across the city agencies to the tune of $45.9 million, and the cuts impacted fire and police. And finally, last article out of Colorado Politics. Top story, Colorado Governor Jared Polis criticized for blaming wolf reintroduction program costs on ranchers. This is sort of curious. The Colorado Counties Conference, the topic of wolves came up there, and I'm not sure if the governor made these comments specifically at that event or not. That isn't very clear here. I think he was there. Yes, he was there. He added that if ranchers such as those from Middle Park stock growers in Grand County had asked Wyoming for wolves, the state would have given them to Colorado. And he's saying that the ranchers asking for the wolves to come from Oregon cost more. I don't know. I guess wolves from different places are different. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. We'll have to ask some questions of some ranchers. Maybe we can find out a little bit more. Representative Matt Soper of Delta added that the wolf initiative was pushed forward with misleading cost estimates and end quote, has since ballooned into a multi-million-dollar program, end quote. Senator Rod Pelton of Cheyenne Wells said the governor should focus on addressing the urban-rural divide and working with ranchers to find real solutions instead of casting blame. And Governor Polis, according to this article, has long been accused of being unfriendly to the agricultural industry. And those are your top stories for the second week of December in 2024. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for listening to the Engage the Rockies podcast, your go-to podcast for local and state issues concerning Colorado.